right, injuries. We got Stuart Bradley will not practice today with a dislocated elbow, and then Max with the ankle sprain, he will not practice today. Both are getting better. We'll see how they do as the week goes on. And we look forward to the challenge of playing the Green Bay Packers, and we know that they're a good football team, obviously. All the teams you play in the playoffs are good football teams. So we look forward to bringing them in here with our fans. Our fans will be a very important part of this, with their ability to create noise. There's a tremendous amount of pressure on an offense, and particularly one that uses a snap count as well as they do. So, and again, they're a good solid team on offense, on defense, on special teams. Our guys are going to go through the process this week of preparing for them and make sure that they exhaust that process and understand the Packers.
The offense that the Packers have, particularly the number of targets that Rodgers can go to, how much of a challenge is that for this defense to be able to figure out who he's going to go to and kind of figure that kind of thing?
Well, he does a nice job. First of all, he's got good wide receivers, and he's a good quarterback. So and he uses them all, and so that's a great challenge for our defense. And I know the guys look forward to that challenge.
I think it's gone a couple of ways. The 75% to 9%. How is he today? And would be 100% on Sunday.
He was at 2.33% this one today.
And you were mentioning the fans.
He's okay.
You were mentioning the fans, but only 4 wins at home this year. Does that bother you at all? And do you expect more Sunday?
Well, obviously the fans aren't playing the game, but we've got to take care of that as coaches and as players. We need to make sure we do our job better. But our fans, a better place to play than right here. They're cranked up. It's a tough thing. I've been on the other end of that, so it's a tough thing to play against.
And do you expect the Vick will be limited at all in practice this week?
No.
I know it's Asante with the knee. Is he 100% yet?
The rest of the guys are good to go. Yeah. It's just those two. Everybody else is good.
I mean, with Vick's leg, I mean, his ability to move, out of the pocket and all that. Do you see that being really exactly where he needs to be?
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. We'll play.
Do you think the new overtime rules, will that take up any of your time this week? And will it take up any of the team's time?
Well, we took a minute to go over it with the players. Now, I spent time in the off season with the coaches, and then went back and we reviewed it again last couple of days here. So, and all the different scenarios. There's some unique things that you're going to be challenged with if they appear. So we'll see how all that works.
Can you give us an idea of one thing you might expect that it's important for them to know in a certain situation?
Well, I'd rather not. There's certain situations that where you've got to make a pretty big decision, particularly if the other team's up by a field goal and you're in that second possession there. You've got to, your first possession, but the second possession of the overtime. You start getting inside that 10-yard line, there's some big time decisions that you've got to kind of digest and make sure that you've got an answer for when you get there.
And I think the kind of situation manage this continuity. Did you guys hear, and also I know you were part of the organization in Green Bay, where it seems like everybody there since Holmgren's come in the same tree, and obviously Thompson was Ron Wolf guy. What kind of advantage do you think there is in that?
Well, listen, they're a stable organization all the way from the board on down. So I think they've got a great front office. I think just what you're saying, that the continuity of being there throughout the Holmgren time period, and then some of them actually went to Seattle with Mike, and then now they're back. And the personnel department was all taught by Ron Wolf, who has a legitimate shot at being a Hall of Fame general manager. So it's a solid bunch.
How much, you've talked a lot about what you took here from Green Bay as far as football, but how much of what you learned about organizational stuff and front office did you bring here kind of from that?
I said that before, that I had a hard time believing as a head football coach of the National Football League anybody did it better than Mike Holmgren. And now that I've been a head coach, I still feel that way. I just, the way he handled all the different situations, I thought there weren't a lot of holes there. And he's a smart guy, and he's good with people, and just makes good decisions. And then Ron Wolf kind of allowed me into that world there of personnel, and shared things with me, and we developed a friendship. And he taught me things along the way, and they're valuable. So I was very fortunate to be in a situation with those two guys.
Andy, have you faced a player who makes a bigger defensive impact this season than Clay Matthews?
Well, I'll tell you, this guy's a candidate for the defensive player of the year and so on. So he's as good a defensive player that's out there. He's got a motor like Trent Cole, where it just is nonstop, and he goes. And there's no slow moments.
Andy Patterson's your starter, the right quarterback?
Yes.
And when you've told us 1,000 times since you got here that it all starts with both lines. When you look at the shape of your two lines right now, what's your level of concern, just in general, moving on here with those two groups?
Well, I guess you probably saw that against Dallas. We were able to go in and compete against what I consider a team that has two pretty good lines, and make it a ball game. So we've got good depth there. We've got guys that have had opportunities to play, whether it was here or other places. They've got experience, so I feel good about that. And it does all start with the front. Now, do they have a great challenge? Absolutely. And it's a fun part about this.
You've won a lot of games, high-scoring games this year. How confident are you if you face a low-scoring game this week or down the line in your defense to pull you through that kind of game?
Well, I've got all kinds of trust in all three phases, so I'm not worried about that. Our guys are good. They've got to go through the process here. They'll be ready to go next time.
Is Lawson returning kicks?
Yes.
When you do your self-scouting and you look at how you've coached in playoff games over the years, do you coach differently offensively as opposed to regular season? Do you see any fundamental changes there or differences?
No, not necessarily, no. We try to keep it as aggressive as possible during the season and during the playoffs.
And you've talked a lot about going through the importance of going through the process. What is the process, and is it any different this year because you have so many young guys?
Well, it's important that with the young players, the ones that haven't been through this, that they understand that the speed of the game is faster in the playoffs. Every level you go up, it's faster. The other thing is that mistakes are magnified. And so you've got to really make sure that if you weren't before, exhausting the process and making sure that you had all the questions answered prior to the game, had your film study done, taking care of your body and gotten the rest, all those things that you need to do to compete, that you've got to get that taken care of. And, or you get exploited. I mean, that's how it works. So, but we've got a pretty diligent group here with the young players, and we've got some good veteran players that have been through it. share their experience.
Trent Cole was one of the few players that you didn't dress on Sunday. How is he at this point? Is he kind of worn down a little bit? Is that one of the reasons why you kind of just kept him not even suited up?
I mean, I had spots, so I went through subjectively and just, unless it was Bradley or somebody that was sure, I went through subjectively and just sat guys that had spots where I could sit them, I had the spots to do that. I wasn't going to play Trent, so it has nothing to do with wearing down or anything.
The guys that did play, did not play on Sunday. Do you see more of a bounce this week with them, or if it goes to the playoffs, is it a bounce anyway?
Yeah, listen, in particular with the guys that have been through it, they're excited about this time of the year. I'm sure Mike can sit here and tell you the same thing about his team. The guys they're fired up. It's a great privilege to be in the playoffs. It's a great reward, and then there's a certain energy that goes with it. We've got a few more people in this room than we normally do. So that's the way it works. Everything is it's just there's a difference.
Do you feel like when you face a team like this, that turnovers are the utmost priority?
Turnovers are magnified, man. You're take away, give away, all that. It's very important. Field position, very important.
This is the first time you've been in the playoffs without Donovan being part of the team. Westbrook, the whole dog Trey run. It's kind of does the dynamic change at all as far as the way this week feels with?
I'll tell you, yeah, it's new and exciting. I mean, it's and you know how I feel about those other guys that you mentioned here. I mean, they left their legacy here that will always stand. And, it's phenomenal. Every one of the ones you name. So it's new and I like it. I mean, it's exciting. I liked it when the other guys were here. This is a little different and fired up.
The overtime might, obviously not come into play, but if it does, because so much is at stake, is it a situation where you think through as much as you can so that when it's time, it's more of a mechanical decision, or do you still have to reserve the feel of what's happening in the moment?
Yeah, well, there's certain things that you've got to take into consideration. The stat people would say that there's assumptions involved, and I'm not good with assumptions. I like facts. But the bottom line is you can't sit and predict whether the control of the game, which way it's going, and so on. So you wait till you're in that moment. But there are certain things that you can cover that you better think through.
Okay. Do you think?
Go ahead, Les.
Do you think Michael Vick understands the adjustments defenses have made to him and he takes seriously adjusting to this?
I didn't like that question, Les. That's all right. I think Michael. Yeah, no, Michael. The adjustments as far as the game plan goes.
Just what defenses are doing these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, I think he's aware of that. And like I said before, I think it's important that, starting with me, that we're all aware of it, and it's a team effort there. And in the case you're talking about, it's an offensive effort to make sure that everybody's on the same page and we're rolling there. And so, to answer your question, yes, he